Earlier on Fittest, Fastest, Strongest, we decoded the reflexes of international batsmen and uncovered the reaction time required to face the world's fastest bowlers. We then broke down the mechanics of bowling at over 90 miles per hour. And then with the help of the legendary Jaunty Rhodes, we even dove headfirst and uncovered the science behind modern-day fielding.
Agent goal this time.
Makes a good catch, diving away to his right.
Good reflex scan there from Decoding.
This time, we glance behind the wicket and take a closer look at perhaps the most difficult yet underrated skill in cricket.
Turn, and Dhoni has appealed, so he senses there's a good chance here.
At any given point in time in the game, you're always part of it. You're never away from it. As a batsman, as a bowler, you always have time to take off. But as a keeper, you never have that.
You're involved in most of the balls of every single day that you play. So yeah, it is a very tough job.
In a sport where aggressive batsmen and imposing bowlers grab all the headlines, there are those who go about their business with quiet confidence. The custodians of the 22 yards, they constantly wait in anticipation, like crouching tigers. A wicketkeeper needs undivided focus, cat-like reflexes, and an audacious attitude. After all, these ever-alert glovemen have to fight through constant stress and physical exertion.
When you've got to say a 90-over game, you're talking about 540 deliveries. You're just squatting. Leave aside everything else like sideways movement, running up and down. Just 540 squats and complete squats. So, that kind of will tell you, I mean, if you go to a gym, you do what, 4 sets of maybe 10, 12 squats. But here, over 7-hour period, you're doing 540 squats.
A wicketkeeper in an ODI is running on average about 6.5 kilometers. If you look at a multi-day version of the game, he's covering about 13.5 to 14 kilometers, 1% of which is actual sprinting. But now let's just dissect that a little bit further. For every ball that he catches, he's got to squat, and he's got to go into what's called a full squat position. That full squat position puts almost 2x the amount of stress on the knees that is equivalent to the front foot landing of a fast bowler, burning 4,500 calories in a day, which is literally 2x anyone else on that field. So if you just look at the numbers and the statistics, he's doing more work than anyone else in the field.
Keeping wicket at the top level is a grueling task, but it is also a thankless job. In other words, a wicketkeeper needs to concentrate and stay focused all day.
Mentally, you've got to be there because, 540, maybe the last delivery of the day, you might get a nick and you're expected to catch it. And it's a thankless job, mind you, no matter how well you do throughout the day, one catch and you drop it and, your day is gone.
He starts focusing from the time a bowler starts running up. He's following and tracking the entire run-up right through. He's tracking the ball in the air and he's looking for a reflection or a deflection of that. Okay, if he gets a deflection, he's got the equal amount of time to react than what a batter has from receiving that ball. And what makes it more difficult is that the ball is hit into the field, his work doesn't stop there. He's got to make a quick sprint to the wickets and he's going to be waiting for that ball to come. And the ball, by law, is only deemed dead when it lands in his hands. So his mental alertness throughout the entire ball in play is heightened.
Whoa, how quick was that? Super piece of keeping from M.S. Dhoni. Lightning speed.
Wicketkeeping even takes a big toll on the fingers and hands. While meaty gloves protect the hands from minor injuries, the constant pounding and collecting of the cricket ball can even lead to disfigured digits.
A ball traveling at 150 kilometers an hour is going to hit his gloves at between 75 to 80 kilometers an hour, exerting about 7,000 newtons of force. If you put everything in perspective, he is taking a repetitive stress of 7,000 newtons every single time he catches that ball. Okay? And the padding on one's hand isn't actually that much. The hand wasn't designed to catch a cricket ball or catch anything coming at that speed. If you look at a cricketer's hand or if you look at a wicketkeeper's hand, His bones are going to be broken, his hands are going to be deformed. They tell a story like nothing will ever.
I very rarely come across a wicketkeeper who says his fingers are fine and they don't ache when you wake up in the morning or during winters.
Generally, a keeper gets a very stiff thoracic part of the spine, so a lot of mobility work, tight hips, tight glutes, tight hamstrings, simply because the amount of squatting you do. So, yeah, your body does tighten up, but you have to kind of loosen up and also be very strong in those areas to keep playing and keep staying on the park.
For international wicketkeepers like M.S. Dhoni, shouldering this heavy workload is all in a day's work. As match after match, they simply go about their business, constantly putting their bodies in harm's way. Now, we go a step further, as we take a closer look at the superhuman skills and attributes that go into making a world-class wicketkeeper.
Whoa, how quick was that? Super piece of keeping from M.S. Dhoni. Lightning speed.
I always believe that wicketkeeper should be a creative. You just cannot be just waiting till things happen, you know. You have to be like Dhoni, and you create stumping, you create runouts, you create catches.
You've got to have the right skills, positioning, your hand positioning. You can be the fittest guy in the world, mentally fit, but you know, you go and dive for a catch, your hand placement is not right, you're gone.
So the best keepers in the world aren't the ones who are reacting to reflexes or reacting to a deflection. These are the guys who are 10 steps ahead of everyone else because they read the situation so well that, you know, you've got to be 10 steps ahead of them to even try to do it. That's what makes great keepers great. If you look at Dhoni, he's a genius at it. You've probably seen times when, you know, he's anticipated a reverse sweep and he's already standing on the other side. We've probably seen times when he's anticipating a second run, catching the ball, and in his follow-through, he's trying to dislodge weights. That is the visionary that you need behind a keeper. That's what distinguishes greatness from everyone else.
A crucial aspect of wicket-keeping is adjustment. Different skill sets come into play while standing guard for different types of bowlers.
Yeah, different kind of skills really. I mean, with a fast bowler, of course, you've got to be able to dive, you've got to move quickly side to side as the ball could kind of go anywhere. Whereas standing up, you've got to hold a position for a lot longer and really focus really hard up to the stumps and maintain a decent position. So you've got to have that quickness of getting back to the stumps, and Dhoni is a perfect example of that. He's probably the quickest to get the ball back to the stumps out of anyone.
Apart from these crucial adjustments, glovemen also need to be handy with the bat. Another skill set that is the hallmark of a top wicketkeeper. Some are required to see off the new ball, like Adam Gilchrist did for Australia.
Oh, the trouble is Gilchrist can do that abundantly for the cover captain.
And some are top-class finishers, just like the legendary M.S. Dhoni.
It's in the air, but outside. For 6, number 1 from Dhoni's bat.
In the truest sense, keeper is, I believe, the only proper all-rounder where the expectations are a lot higher. For an all-rounder, it's all right if you don't score as long as you pick wickets, or the other way around, you don't pick wickets, you score runs, it's fine. But as a keeper, you've got to do both. You've got to score runs as well, and you've got to keep well as well. I mean, you don't do one of them, and like I said, it's a thankless job.
A constant roving eye behind the wicket, glovemen have the best seat in the house. Judging pitch conditions, effecting field changes, and constantly leading from behind. Wicket keepers are de facto captains as well.
Being a keeper, I believe you also have to be extremely aware of your surroundings. You actually are the unofficial captain of the team, even if you're not the official captain.
You have to be kind of the really central point of the team. You've got to keep the guys going. If it's tough going out there as a wicket keeper, you keep everyone going, and also, yeah, you help the captain out as much as you can, and the bowlers, because you can see exactly what's going on.
A wicket-keeper's job is clearly not easy, and the skill sets required by top-class glovemen are varied. Ever so vigilant and on their toes, keepers have their work cut out, as every last one of their skills comes into play in various phases of the game. Wicket-keeping is arguably one of the toughest jobs on the cricket field. Like brave warriors, these glovemen keep fighting on. Wicket keepers are truly the lifeblood of every cricket team.